Good morning. I know it has been a good little while since I have posted something on my video blog. I have been a busy bee out here working, hustling, saving people. Got my cape on. Blah. You can't see it, but it's there. Blah. Anyway, so I just had a little short story I wanted to tell you guys about. I visited a client of mine yesterday, and he had a friend with him who was like a financial advisor when he was younger. And my client wanted me to meet with him because he knew a lot, and I'm always open to learning, always, no matter which area of life it's in, but in my professional world, I love learning. And that's one of the things he told me to do. He's like, Michelle, always learn. Never stop learning. I mean, I felt like I was sitting at the feet of Gandhi, like as far as the financial services. He was awesome. However, he said something yesterday that completely shook me. It shook my whole entire self. And I love those conversations. They set me on fire, right? And he was talking about, his family, how he loved them and all this stuff. And he was telling me about a son of his second son, or his first son. He said he lost his son to cancer a few years ago. He was talking about the story of his son's life, how he disappeared for about 4 years, and he didn't know where he was. He was on drugs. But finally, one day, he got a call from his son, and his son told him he had a child, and he was just really emotional. So that was the beginning of the rebuilding of their relationship. So it's kind of like his son became the prodigal son. You know, we've all heard that story, right? Right. But I was watching this man, because I just lost my father too a year and 5 days ago. Who's counting? And I watched his response, and I watched his body language and his reaction. He was not emotional at all when he talked about his son. However, when he started talking about his father, that was a total 180. It was a total difference, right? Sorry, had to do something. So he began to talk about his dad, how his dad worked 2 jobs, and when his son was in sports, when he was in sports, he said my father would be in the stands cheering for me and rooting for me. Even while he was tired, he missed out on sleep because he wanted to be there for his son. Sounds like a good dad, right? I think so. And I said, so why the tears? I asked him because I was wondering. I was like, this 80-year-old man was sitting here sobbing after losing his father at 19 years old. And he said, because I never got to say thank you to my father. I felt like I should have said thank you. I felt like I should have done it while he was alive, and I'll never forgive myself. And I told him, I said, but that's not your fault. I said, you're not responsible for telling your dad that you were grateful. I'm sure he knew that. He said, there's nothing you can say to me that will get me to change my mind. 61 years of grief. 61 years of torment and torture. And the thing that I took away from that was this. What things have we decided to require of ourselves that God doesn't even require of us? This man sat with this grief for 61 years. And I'm certain he has been distracted from joy in so many instances, and his happiness had been interrupted. His happy memories from his dad were interrupted by guilt. And I was like, God, wow, what a thing to teach me on today. We have so many things in our spirit, so many things that we've been taught, so many requirements that we've been given culturally to keep us in a disposition of sadness, of lack, of not feeling good enough, the lack of confidence, lack of self-awareness. Because when you have a rule, it kind of takes you out of the mindset of awareness. Rules avert us from actually being aware of ourselves. How am I feeling as opposed to what I'm supposed to be doing? How am I responding? How am I reacting? What is my behavior? What am I feeling emotionally when this is happening to me, as opposed to I'm just supposed to feel grief. I'm supposed to feel bad because I didn't say thank you to my father. That is so crazy to me. And I was like, okay, God, what am I requiring of myself that you are not requiring of me? What stipulations have I put onto my life to keep myself distracted from the awareness that you want me to focus on inside? Right? There is freedom in awareness. Like, if I'm aware of how I'm feeling about a situation and I assess it, okay, Michelle, you're a little bit upset today, but why? Why are you upset? What's going on? What's really happening? That level of awareness creates such a freedom and such a release from people. I know a man right now that he is in his 60s, almost 70s, and his wife left him after being married for, I think, 2 years or something like that. A very short period of time. His mother raised him in the church. I'm talking about starch holiness. Holiness is still right. You know, like those type of people. Like, you know, like the Pentecostals, they wear skirts and stuff like that. Whole nother level. Whew. So, but here's the thing though. He hasn't been remarried in over 20 years because his mother told him, hey, you are not free until your wife that left you and got married to another man dies. What? Who in what book? Who would give that type of a requirement? Where did that come from? So this man can't be happy because his wife that's already moved on to someone else has been married, and he can't get remarried until she dies. What requirements are we holding over ourselves that God doesn't even require from us? Learning to separate you from the requirements of others and their traditionalism and their religion and their cultural attempts to control folks is a very hard thing to do. Because when you're taught at a young age that this is what is right, instead of looking into the situation, looking into who you are, acknowledging who you are, and then acknowledging God in the same situation. That's why I believe that scripture that says, acknowledge me in all your ways and I will direct your path. Can you imagine if these two men that I've talked about would have acknowledged God, or would acknowledge God even now because they're still alive? What is the most powerful thing about self-awareness? In my opinion, the most powerful thing about self-awareness is this: the freedom to be who you are and to understand that you are loved just the way you are, right? Even if you don't meet those requirements that everybody else wants you to have, or everyone else wants you to fall under, just because that's what they did their entire lives, and that's how you make them comfortable. That attempt to control you is an attempt to keep themselves comfortable for the work that they put in to be righteous. That's not righteousness, that's piety. Because everybody is different. Everybody has different hearts. Everybody has different spiritual connections to God. And these two men have taught me a very, very valuable lesson. And that's why I wanted to share it with you guys. While I'm trying to make sure I don't have no accident. Jesus. Thank you. Yes. Oh, yep. So, but that's the thing. We've got to separate ourselves from everyone else's needs and feel comfortable for what they've done their entire lives. That's all traditionalism is. And I had to tell somebody recently, hey, don't put your traditional ignorance on my life. Don't attach your traditional lack of information. You're only doing stuff because you're told to do it, and that's what you heard and that's what you're seeing. What? No, leave me alone. Mind your business. Child, let me tell you. Y'all better stop letting folk control y'all. And be free. And acknowledge God in everything. And when you acknowledge God, God will reveal truth to you. God will reveal wisdom. If any man lack wisdom, let him ask. And God gives it freely. So, that's all I got for today. I hope it inspired you and blessed you, because it inspired and blessed me. I think I feel 2 tons lighter. But it took someone else's pain for me to see what the lesson was. That man has been dealing with that grief for 61 years. He couldn't even talk about it. He couldn't even mention his father. That is torment. So, free yourselves today, folks. Live freely, and I'm in the car a lot more now. So I'll be trying to share my experiences with you guys and share my insight. Anyway, all right. Love you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.